What's up, everyone? Welcome to Divine Healing Poetry. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in. If you are a weekly Sunday joiner, thank you for returning. So, how are y'all doing? How's everyone's day? How was your week? My week was good. It was good. Can't complain. As a single mother, those who know, the days can be trying, the weeks can be long, but it's worth every bit of it, right? So for the new viewers, welcome. Thank you for deciding to spend your Sunday evening with me, Summer, here at Divine Healing Poetry, where we just share our journeys of healing, our experience. Myself, I was in a very abusive relationship for 17 and a half years. I grew up in an abusive household as well, hence how I ended up in that awful situation. But I share my experience through that situation and just how I've grown from it. I share the things that I've experienced, some of the tough situations, and just how to grow, heal, learn, and navigate through dealing with someone who's a narcissist, healing from the abuse that you endured from being with a narcissist, and even growing up in a household with parents where one of them was a narcissist. So, welcome. So, thank you for tuning in. And, I always invite you guys to share, to leave a comment, because we're building a community here of growers, healers, and you learn from other people. I put on so much of this lip oil that it's just like, okay, there we go. My daughter put me onto this lip oil, y'all, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Like, it really, do you see that? Do you see the glow? That's what I'm saying. But sometimes that thing just be oozing out. But yes, please. This is a safe space. We are all, learning, navigating through this thing called life, and each one teach one. We are here to help, to learn, and to, grow and tend our own gardens. So, this week, unmasking the narcissist. I was just going about my day, and I was just like, that just like came to my mind, and I was just like, fucking, and it's always in relating to my children's dad, because he was my narcissistic abuser for a good 17 and a half years, and I didn't find out what a narcissistic person was until after I had 2 kids with him, and I was well into the relationship, like 14 years. So once I found out, it was just like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. Like, I have to go. I remember doing research on it, on the topic, and I remember the first thing I read, it was like, run. Get out now, run fast. And I was like, whoa, that's intense. But being with a narcissistic person is intense. It is, you are constantly mentally on a whirlwind. Like, it is like a emotional, you ever heard that song, emotional roller coaster? Yes, and not in a good way. There are more downs and more twists and turns than your mind and body can handle. And once I began to just realized like he was never gonna change. Like I had to get out. I had to leave. And once I left, that's when things like really took a turn for the worse, because he really showed a side of him that I had never seen before. Like he became a stalker. He became even more abusive. He really showed me that how much of a manipulator he was, and he would not stop at anything to get me back. He would manipulate. And see, as a empath, we feel, and he knew that, so he would always play off of my feelings, try to guilt trip me, and even using our children as a form of manipulation against me to get me to come back. And once I finally got out of it and like created distance in between us, I really started to become free in a sense. But he even still, again, as an empath, we are always constantly trying. We always hope for the best. We always feel bad. And as a mother, you always want to have a good co-parenting relationship with your kids' dad. You know what I'm saying? And so you even want your children to have this healthy relationship. You want your kids to have, their mom and their dad together. But with a narcissistic person, it's not your reality. That is not, it's impossible to have that type of relationship with a narcissistic person. And last week, I was just thinking, like, just going over things in my mind, and I was just like, I am really beginning to see my children's dad for the person that he is. Just like so much more than just this narcissistic person. Like there's so many other levels to it, and I was just floored. I was disgusted. I just couldn't believe the levels of lowness that he still goes to this day, and it's sickening. And the more like I begin to reveal and unmask, the more I begin to unmask him, I'm really seeing how sick of an individual he really is. And my therapist, she be telling me like, oh, he's broken inside. I don't give a fuck. Shit, we all broken in one way or another. But I'm not out here doing that type of shit to anybody. I'm not out here manipulating anybody, hurting anybody, or anything like that. So it's like, and I tell her, I was like, I don't care. And she's like, well, that's okay. You don't have to. And it's like, and I don't, And so, like, and what probed me to even ponder on this was because our daughter, she wanted to order some little stuff off of Shein, right? And like all the stuff she wanted was like, it was like $5. And so, I mean, he doesn't take care of his kids anyway. So, I mean, the least you could do is divvy up $5, right? You know what I'm saying? And so she calls him, she asks him, and it's funny because she called him a bunch of times and he did not answer. She texted him and she saw that he had read her message but didn't text her back and didn't call her back. And she had asked me, she was like, if I called you, would you answer? I was like, every time you call me, don't I answer? And I wasn't even putting two and two together. And I was just like, when you call me, don't I always answer? And she was like, yeah, unless you're working. I was like, yeah, because then I can't answer, right? I was like, but I still answer. Like, because I work from home, but I'm on the phone a lot. And so I'll push mute real quick. And I'll be like, what's up? Text me. I'm working. I'm on a call. Whatever, And she'll be like, okay. So even then, I still answer because I just feel like, shit, it could be an emergency. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's going on? You okay? You good? And so she was like, yeah, that's true. And I was like, why are you asking me that? She's like, because I called my dad so many times and he has not answered. And I saw that he read my message and he hasn't texted me back. And I was like, well, you never know. And I've even learned, look, I'm not about to badmouth your dad. He does it on his own. And as children, they know. So it's no point for me to badmouth him and then I look like the bad person. I'm going to let you do it all on your own. You need no assistance from me to be the bad person, right? And so she finally gets him on the phone and he says, let me see a picture of it. Do you have an account on Shein or whatever? And she's like, no. And I was like, here, I'll set up an account for you really quickly, right? So I set up her account. And now, this is the kicker. This is how low and how just insecure and sick-minded a narcissistic person is. Her name had her first name and my last name. I honestly don't even know how it did that. But, like, who cares, though? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Everybody knows your name. You know your name. It doesn't fucking matter. That shouldn't deter you away from buying your child something. So it was funny. Her and I, we didn't even notice it, but of course he did. So he says to her, send me a picture of everything that you're getting. For one, why? And for me, that didn't even make sense to me, but he's always been the type of person who is controlling beyond, like, his levels of controlling are immeasurable. Like, it is just to an extent of where it's just like, are you that insecure within yourself that you really need to control everything? Like, everything. And the answer is yes, they do. They need to know and have control over everything you do, you think, you say, whatever. And whether if you stepping with the left or the right first, they need to know, and they need to know why. Like, for real. And so she was like, okay. And she put him on mute and she was like, he wants to see a picture of everything that I'm getting. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, like, why? And I was like, well, just send him a picture. And she was like, but there's more stuff on here than I said that I was getting. And I was like, it's only $5, And so because at first she asked him for one thing. And he was like, well, I'll give you $5. And she was like, oh, $5? Well, I could get more stuff. Like any kid, any person, shit, I do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you want one thing, but then somebody will tell you, like, okay, well, I'll give you this much. Well, shit, that's more than what I needed, so let me get some more. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, it's okay. But she has that fear inside of her because she doesn't feel safe with him. She's afraid. And which is natural. Shit, that's how I was when I was with him. Like, I was scared of everything because the smallest thing you do not even incorrectly, but the minute you do something that they don't like, it's like a fucking volcano erupted and fucking it is havoc everywhere, And so I was like, it's okay, so I'm constantly always making them feel safe. And so I was like, it's okay. He said you could spend $5. You're not spending more than $5. So she takes a picture, she sends it to him. He creates the most. He just becomes very dramatic. He's like, that's not your name. Why does that say, your name and then your mom's last name? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know. Mom did it. And he's like, but that's not your name. And she's like, I know. And I was like, what's the problem? And she was like, it's because it has your last name with my first name. And I was like, I looked and I was like, oh, dang. I was like, I don't even know how it did that. She was like, I don't know either. I was like, me either. And I created the account for you. Like, I don't know how it did that. So he starts like going off. I just grabbed the phone and hung up because you're not about to verbally and emotionally and mentally abuse my child. Like, you're already mentally abusing her because, for one, you're like, I need to know everything. Send me a picture of everything. I need to know everything. Ask your mom. She knows this is how I am. Yeah, it's fucking sick and it's controlling. It's disgusting that you're that way. That's fucking sick. And you're not about to do that to my child. You're not about to give her a fucking complex. No, not happening. And so I just hung up the phone. And you could see that, like, she's visibly upset. And it's just like, fuck. Fuck. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. And so I told her, I was like, look, it's okay. I'm just going to buy it for you. It's fine. It's no big deal. And I was like, lesson learned. We know how to move with this motherfucker from now on. And I said to her, I was like, look, lesson learned. From now on, moving forward, if you want to buy something, you're not asking him and letting him know specifically what you want to buy. Because I'm not dealing with this. You shouldn't have to send a fucking picture of the nails and the little jewelry that you want. It shouldn't matter. That's just weird anyway. It's not like you care about what she's getting. If so, like, you wouldn't need a picture. Her verbally telling you is enough. It's enough. And so I was like, look, moving forward, whenever you want to buy anything, you just call him and you say, hey, can I have some money? And if he's like, oh, well, what do you want? What do you want to buy? You just let him know nothing. You just want some money. And you just leave it at that. And if he creates a big deal out of it, saying, oh, I need to know what you're buying, this, that, and the other, be like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Mom got it because mom got it. Mom always got it. You know what I'm saying? Whether if she got it or if she don't, she's going to get it. She's going to get it like she always does. She's going to get it and she's going to make it happen. So, and that's just how we move, because I'm not going to allow him to abuse my child. Not at all. And so she was like, okay. So she was fine. Ordered her things. And we went on about our day. And I made sure to let them know, like, look, we're not answering his calls for the day. No one answered his calls. No one responds to his text message because he on some other shit right now. And we are not allowing that negative energy to flow into our home. We are happy. We are peace. We are love. We are kindness. We are compassion. We're not allowing that to come up over here and suck our energy. We're not vibrating low. We are vibing high. So no. And she was like, okay. And I was like, you happy? You got your stuff? It'll be here in about a week. And she's like, yes, I'm happy. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I love you. Everything is good. And lesson learned. Let's move on. So I proceeded to make breakfast. Whatever. We went on about our day. So he calls her later. Of course, he was calling her all day. Calling my son all day. And, like, it was like towards the evening now, and she was like, I'm gonna answer. And I was like, that's fine, go ahead. He didn't apologize. He didn't ask her how she was doing. And see, kids notice. And he talked to her for like a minute or two, and then he got off the phone with her. And she was like, he didn't even apologize. He didn't even ask me how I was feeling, if I was okay or anything like that. And I was like, baby, he doesn't feel he did anything wrong. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, he doesn't feel like he does anything wrong. And she's like, ugh. And I began to sit and just think, like, you are sick inside. Like, literally, you are disturbed. And so I just was sitting thinking, and just again, another of the unmasking process of a narcissistic person. They abuse and try to torture any and everyone. Doesn't matter if it's their child, it doesn't matter. And I was just like, fuck. Like, you have no boundaries as to the people in your life that you just will not abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are no boundaries. It's just like they stop at no one. And I think, like, the more I learn, the more I heal, the more I grow. It is just like the more I see how much darkness is inside of him, and the more that I see, like, it's not just me who I have to set boundaries and protect. Like, I really have to teach my daughter how to protect herself, even from her own father, because his abuse didn't stop with me. His abuse is now trickling down onto our daughter. And it's just like, I was thinking, like, when we were together, he wore that mask very well of being a loving dad, someone who would always take care of his children. And that is just not the case. And I really started thinking, like, I am just really unmasking all of the things that I thought you were. I thought you were this great person. You're really not. I thought you were a wonderful dad. Yeah, you were lazy, physically taking care of your children, but it's even emotionally, financially, like, you're not that, and then even just everything. Like, I thought you were smart. I thought you were just like a good man, and you're not any of that. And it's the more time away, the more time I'm spent healing myself and working on myself. You were never that. It was always me. It was really always me. Like, I provided you those feelings, and I provided you that platform to make it seem like you were this great person. You were this great father. It was me holding up the family. It was me that did it all. It was never you. And it's never going to be them. It is never going to be them. And, like, he even still tries to talk to me. And even the other day, when all that was going on, he was like, where's your mother? Tell her I miss her and I want to talk to her. I miss talking to her. You don't fucking miss me. You don't miss talking to me. You miss the feeling that I give you. You miss my vibration. You really just miss the light within me, because a narcissistic person is so dark. They don't have any light. They are full of darkness. And when you begin to unmask them and see them for who they really are, it is just, it's sick. It's disgusting. And they will never change. They will never change. And they don't even want to realize how awful of a human being that they really are. They never will. And even if they do realize that they're a narcissist, they cover it up with more delusion. So is it even really realizing that they are a narcissistic person? No, not at all. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, the more you begin to unmask, a narcissistic person, the more you are really just like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, people like that exist. People like that exist, and it's sickening. It is just, they're never going to change. And so the more you realize and see them for who they are, the smarter you become on how to handle their ass. And so, it's like, that's a you problem, baby. That ain't me. I know I used to give you a wonderful, great image and make you feel good, but nah, that's for me, and that's for someone that deserves it. So, you really got to leave them where they are. Leave them in that shit. Leave them in that hole. Leave them there. And once you begin to just learn how to deal with them, how to handle them, your life becomes easier. Don't let them trigger nothing inside of you. Stick to your boundaries. Continue to go no contact, because I promise you, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't miss you. He don't miss me. And I don't care if he doesn't. If he doesn't, honestly, that ain't got shit to do with me. You should be missing your girlfriend. You're missing a bunch of child support payments. That's what you're missing. That's all you're missing. You're missing watching your kids grow into beautiful, amazing humans. Like, that's all you're missing. The shit that matters, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is what you're missing. That's it. I can. So, and be careful when you begin the process of unmasking a narcissist, because it can be dangerous. They fly into rage. They want to hurt the fuck out of you. So definitely be careful. Watch your back. They will change your passwords, change your logins, change all of that shit. I promise you. Been there. Had to do it. I had to get rid of my whole iCloud. Had to change it all. I changed my numbers. I don't know how many times, but it was like every other week. People was like, "Dang, you changed your number again?" I said, "Yeah, I had to." So be careful. Be safe. The process is it's a long, tough one. Sweet. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn them, and once you begin to unmask them, and once they begin to realize and know, like, dang, she done figured me out, they are terrified of you, because it's like, you know them for the real person that they are, and so they become terrified of you. I know. And just keep on. You are the light. You are love. And I feel like we haven't done this in so long. Oh my gosh. We haven't spoken affirmations in forever. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are love. Be thankful for you, everything that you do. Be thankful for the process. Love yourself through every piece of healing, every piece of growth. I know sometimes it feels like you're drowning, and this is me speaking from my own personal experience. Sometimes it feels like you're drowning. You can save yourself. Remember to swim to the top. Poke your head out and breathe. And be thankful for you. Every time it feels like you're drowning, that is an elevation. That is a moment for growth. That is a moment to love yourself intensely. That is a moment for you to give gratitude and to give thanks. Remember where you came from. You brought yourself here. So there's no limit. There's no level. There's no stopping you to where you can't save yourself, to where you can't love yourself. Love yourself through it all. Never give up on yourself, because the moment you give up on yourself, the moment you take yourself out of all of that growth, out of all of that healing that you've been doing, and you just stop your process. You begin to vibe on a lower level. Don't go down to them. That is where they want you. They want you to feel defeated. They want you to feel like you can't, and you can. You are. You are. Be thankful. And this is something that I have to be heavy on. Just thanking myself for where I am. You know, don't ever compare yourself to where other people are, what other people are doing, because those other people aren't you. Those other people haven't been where you've been, done what you've done, gone through what you've gone through. Only you have. So if you've brought yourself out of some shit and you now have beautiful flowers growing, stop and dwell in that shit and be thankful. Look at it. Be happy. Love every piece of it. Because if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't be where you are. You know, take your time. Be patient with yourself. Everything is working for your highest good. Everything is working out for you. Continue to believe in yourself. Continue to have faith in yourself and love yourself through every piece of it. Every piece of it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Come back Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Divine Healing Poetry.